Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this video is about my 12x12 challenge for 2023. And yes, we're halfway through February right now when I do this, but that's because it took me a while to actually decide I'm having a challenge for 2023. For those who know, for those who followed, last year my challenge to myself was I was going to play a new game every single day for the entire year, to try to stay ahead of all the games that I'm getting in, to try to basically just to clear out older games and things like that, and it went well. I was successful in it. I played a new game every single day for the entire 2023, and that's over now. It's not something I want to continue doing. I don't want to force myself to always have to play another game, and in 2023 I'm focusing more on going deep than going wide, if that makes sense. And this wasn't actually a plan on the challenge. Rather, I mentioned in my video for the last final closing video of the games I played in 2023, in 2022, basically every month I would do a recap video of here are the 30 new games I played this month. I got a comment on one of those videos saying, hey, what's the challenge for 2023? And I didn't have one. And so now I have one. Sort of. This. Basically, this is a 12x12 challenge, an H-index of 12. If you don't know what an H-index is the idea that you've played a game, you've played X games X number of times. So for example, if you play, let's just pick a random game, if you play Catan one time, you've played one game one time. If you've played Catan twice and Ticket to Ride twice, you've played two games two times. If you play Catan twice, Ticket to Ride twice, and I don't know, let's just say Codenames twice, well then you don't actually have an H-index of 3 yet because you've played 3 games 2 times, not 3 games 3 times. Every time you add a game, you have to also add that many plays to all the other games. An H-index of 12, which is a 12x12 challenge, is you've played 12 games 12 times. H-indexes could be for all time. What's your largest H-index? How many games have you played? What is the largest number that you've played that many games that many times for all time? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments down below what your H-index is. In fact, I'm going to pull up mine in a second. Give me a second here. I realize I can pull up mine for the sake of this conversation, but what is your H-index of all time? What's your H-index of a particular year? These are just stats. If you have them, you may or may not know. You might be able to do it yourself. You might not be. Let me just go to month over here. Let's go to all, and let's find out my H-index on BG Stats, the app I use to track plays. I think it's a fascinating number because H-index to a certain degree represents a degree of knowledge and involvement with those games. Or it's just a fun game you play with yourself to try to trick yourself into playing more games, which I'm always down for. As far as me, it looks like I have an H-index of 25 for all time. That means I've played 25 games 25 times. Disclaimer, I only started tracking stats in 2016, so it's probably a little higher, but it gets very hard to actually do this. The higher you go, the harder it is to keep going up. 25 games 25 times, that's great, but to get to 26 means I have to add a new game, play that 26 times, and play these other 25 games one time more each. For me, let's say in 2022, for example, let's go to 2022. In 2022, my H-index is instead, probably lower than that, I'd guess maybe 13, 14, let's see. H-index is 10. That means in 2022 I played 10 games 10 times. If you reset it every time, they get harder and harder. That is a longer conversation around H-indexes, which isn't the point of this video. The point of this video is that I'm doing 12 games 12 times in 2023, or at least trying to. That's the main caveat. I'm trying to, and no guarantee if I actually will or won't. We'll see what happens. But specifically for the sake of this conversation, and I'm going to go through the 12 games I've picked, and I'm also going to go through my backup 10 games. I have 10 games in my backup list, just the games I kind of want to play. And the specific criteria for this video, or for these games, are they have to be games that I wasn't guaranteed playing 12 times anyway, meaning these are games I typically would not play 12 times in a year, and I do have to push myself a little harder to get that done. They are also going to be games that I believe are achievable. So, for example, there are a bunch of heavier games in this. I don't even know an example offhand. I don't know, Through the Ages would be actually, Through the Ages has an app. If I counted it online plays, that'd be different. Forget which game. There are many games I could play that I could add to the list that I might not actually be able to get done. So it has to be a game that it has to be games that I wouldn't otherwise do, so I can't count Gloomhaven, I can't count anything I'm currently streaming or playing through enough times that I know I'd get it done. I can't count games that are super easy. There is no conversation here around 12 plays of Cockroach Poker, even if Cockroach Poker isn't a game that I'd play 12 times in a year, which I typically would. So for example, let's say No Thanks or Colorado would be good examples of games that I could put on this list and say, hey look, 12 games 12 times, but they're, 15 minutes a play, so I don't want to count that. I want a minimum session time of a half an hour as my minimum. And then the last thing was general achievability. I think I said 3 things there, I don't know. But general achievability, so it can't just be too long. I have to look at this list and think to myself, I can actually do that. Whether I will or won't is a different conversation, but I can actually do that. Oh, and then the last criteria is I want them to all be games that I already know I like. I don't want to commit myself to play 12 games of something I don't like. These are all picking games that I believe that I already know I like it to a degree. There's some caveats we'll get to on the backup list. And they're games that I want to play 12 times. Not I'm forcing myself to, I want to, I'm just forcing myself to play them over something else. To that end, this list over here, we currently have, and as far as, well, let's cover the list and we'll talk more about things after. This list over here contains these 12 games. I currently have 10 on the table and 2 that I don't currently own. One of them has a strong asterisk to it. We'll talk about it again. There's a backup list for a reason. We have Parks over here, which I believe is the shortest game on this list, coming in around 30 to 40 minutes a game. Parks currently is one that I think it's short enough that I can do. There's also online play if I need, so worst comes to worst, I can always hop into Tabletopia, play with a few Discord members, knock out plays that way. A lot of these do have online play and or solo play. One of those two was a big criteria for me because that makes it more achievable as far as my ability to get it done. Parks has online play. It technically has a solo play. I haven't actually played a solo, but as part of my 12 plays, I will play the solo too, because why not? Then from there, I have Encyclopedia. If you've watched my content, you know that this is a game I would love to play 12 times. This is a game, I don't know, I've played it maybe 8 or 9 times so far. It's one that I have certainly played enough that I think 12 games is achievable, and I would look forward to it with no problem whatsoever. It's not crazy long. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's a game I would adore to dive into 12 times over the course of the next year, and it's available on Tabletopia as well. Again, making it a drop easier there. And it has solo play, and I don't mind counting 1 or 2 plays of solo play. I've played this one solo. I'd rather play with more people, but I don't mind diving into it once or twice solo. Then we have the Lost Ruins of Arnak. This one should be an easy one. Again, I haven't actually played it 12 times last year. I don't know if I've played it. No, I've played it more than 12 times total by now. For sure, between the expansion, between the base game, I'm for sure over 12 total plays. By the way, fun fact, some of these games I haven't played 12 times, ever, even though I love them. Loving a game does not mean you've played it 12 times. Sometimes it takes 5 plays for me to love a game, and that can be plenty. I would argue a majority of the games I have not played 12 times. Parks, I might have over my whole history of owning it. Encyclopedia, definitely not. It's still too new. Lost Ruins of Arnak, it is. Between the expansion and the base game, I'm probably at like 15, 20 plays. But I'm going to knock out 12 plays this year. I might dive into some solo with the app. I'd love to try the app and get a few plays in. I want variety in my plays as well. But then also I want to dive into more of the Lost Ruins of Arnak, the Hidden Leaders, the Hidden Leaders expansion content. I've dove into all the characters, but I haven't played with all the sides of the research board. I'll probably do that. Throw that into the mix. 12 plays of Lost Ruins of Arnak. That's on the list over here. We have Oathsworn. 12 plays of Oathsworn. This one I debated because I'm trying to play this anyway as a campaign game, so maybe I would get those 12 plays in anyway, but this is an additional incentive. Unlike Gloomhaven, where I knock out 2 or 3 plays a week, I'm not currently played Oathsworn. I've played Oathsworn probably a total of maybe 6 times, 7 times. Not nearly enough to consider myself an Oathsworn expert by any means, and there's tons more content to go through here, and I would love to knock out Oathsworn in 2023. Whether or not I get the full thing done, at least 12 plays. 12 plays. And fun fact, for all of these, I am counting any plays I have in 2023, even prior to this video. I'm only giving myself 2023 to play these 12 games 12 times, and the reason for 12 is because the months, 12 months, 12 games, 12 times, although I am a month and a half behind, so there's some catching up to do. On this side of the table, we have a Feast for Odin. Not specifically a Norwegian expansion, but just a Feast for Odin. This is possibly the longest and most ambitious game I have on this list, possibly. Oathsworn's definitely long and ambitious too, so a tough one there. Before Feast for Odin, it does have availability on Board Game Arena, which should make it an easier game to play because of that. So I hope to dive into it as both in person, because I have it and I want to play it, but also Board Game Arena gives me that flexibility to play online. Does it even have solo play? I don't know if it has solo play. It has solo play! Maybe we'll dive into some solo play of A Feast for Odin as well. We have Spirit Island, specifically with Jagged Earth, with Branch and Claw. I haven't actually played Jagged Earth. Maybe I'll play, if I'm playing it 12 times, I should probably play Jagged Earth. But I have Branch and Claw. I've played Branch and Claw. I've played the base game, the various spirits. I'll be diving into this 12 times. Probably. Maybe. Hopefully. That's the game plan. Also, I own it on Steam. Makes it a little easier there. Again, see those whole things. Solo play, online play, all of that. We have Tanares Adventures. This might be ambitious, but if you watched my Tanares video, you know how excited I am to play it, and I certainly do not mind throwing an obligatory commitment on myself to play it at least 12 times in 2023. If I had my way, I'd play it 12 times this month. Maybe I will. Probably not. We're halfway through the month. 12 times next month. Nope, month of March is going to be crazy. 12 times in April. Maybe. We'll get to it. Either way, I'll be diving into Tanares Adventures shortly, 12 times over the course of this year, at a minimum. That's my goal. We'll see what happens. If I ignore the rest of this entire list, it is what it is. Keep in mind, 12 by 12 is 144 plays. 144 plays I'm committing towards this challenge. In last year, in 2022, I believe I have 1,280 plays total under my belt. I'm putting a little under 10% of my total plays just towards this challenge if I get it done. So, wish me luck. We also have Wild Assent. Now, Wild Assent is an interesting one, and I'll tell you why. Wild Assent runs in campaigns of 10 games. I don't know what to do with that information. Because, strictly speaking, I have to see. I haven't decided. There's actually 2 games on this list that have this problem. See, Wild Ascent is one of the games where, because it has a campaign of 10 games, what do I want to do with that information? Do I want to play it just 2 extra times just to knock it out? Not really. I might play Wild Ascent 10 times and say it counts, and then, count some stupid other 12 by 12 game that I play. I'll figure it out. I haven't fully decided, or maybe I just throw this in the backlog and play something else, but if the campaign runs for 10 games, I'm not playing 2 games just for the sake of the challenge, and I'm not starting a full another campaign. I'm not doing 20 games. It's going to be enough to do Wild Ascent 10 games. I will figure out my options. Worst comes to worst, maybe I'll do, I don't know. Wild Ascent's on the list, but it's on the list with a giant asterisk. A little easier than Wild Ascent, and a controversial pick for me, is going to be Clank Legacy. Clank Legacy is a game that I've agreed to give another shot to. Those of you who've watched my content over the years know that Clank Legacy was a game that did not work for me. I got 5 games into it and then stopped playing. I don't usually stop playing Legacy games. Legacy games give me that breath of fresh air, that newness, that sense of discovery, and I like them because of it. And Clank Legacy, I played 5 times. I was like, I'm good. I'm good to go. I'm fine. I can wrap up now. And I kind of want to give it a shot, because it's one of those games where every time I talk about it, people are like, no, it's amazing, it's incredible, it's great, you should play it. Why do you not like it more than you do, Alex? And I should like the Clank system. I like deck building in general, and I'm okay with the Clank system, and Clank Legacy is just exploration and discovery on top of that. I should, by all accounts, like it. So I'm going to try to make it happen. Now, same problem, Clank Legacy has 10 games. The difference with Clank Legacy over Wild Ascent is Clank Legacy, strictly speaking, has that you can continue playing after mechanic. It has that aspect where you could keep playing in this map and this world that you've created, and maybe I'll do it. I don't think I'll like it that much more. I think I'll probably have, meh things to say about the ongoing play, but at the very least, I'll be able to say, you know what, I played a Legacy game, and I even played the after thing majiggy. That's not nearly as exciting, but I did it for both a 12 by 12 challenge, and so that I can say that I did, and maybe I'll review Clank Legacy, which I've never officially done. I probably should do that. Let's play Clank Legacy and review Clank Legacy. So that's going to happen over there. Then we have another game that's not on the table over here, is Sentinels of the Multiverse. It's not on the table because I traded for Sentinels of the Multiverse Enhanced Edition, and the person hasn't logged on to BGG in like a month now. I hope he's alive. I do hope he's alive. If not, I'll have to buy a copy elsewhere, because I already sent him my Merlin Big Box Edition, so currently, I'm out Merlin Big Box, and I don't have Sentinels of the Multiverse Enhanced. It wasn't just for Sentinels, it was also for Witchwood, so it's 2 games for Merlin Big Box. It's a great trade, but he hasn't logged on in a month, so I might just be out Merlin Big Box. I'll try to get my hands on Sentinels of the Multiverse Enhanced Edition anyway. I don't know why I said that. I got into gaming with Sentinels of the Multiverse. So it was one of my first games I ever had. I got the game. I had the small flat box. The flat box, that's old school, okay? I get credit for having that box. Then I got the Enhanced Edition, or the Definitive, no, I think now's the Definitive Edition. Then I got the Enhanced Edition, and now there's the Definitive Edition. I think those are the correct terms. I don't know. All I do know is I do want to try Sentinels of the Multiverse again. I think it's a good system. I always like the system. I don't know if it's one that will last, but I kind of want to put it on the 12 by 12 challenge and see what happens. I like the general aspect and mechanics going on in that game, and I would welcome the opportunity to go down nostalgia lane to a game that I loved when I first got into the hobby, a game that I very much enjoyed and continue to expand upon, and then a game I eventually got rid of because I was playing other games instead. Plus, if I have Sentinels of the Multiverse, I can do Sentinels of the Multiverse versus, Marvel Champions and do a, play this, not that video with them, because that'd be a fun video, I think, maybe. And then lastly on this particular list, we have Too Many Bones over here. Now, Too Many Bones, I have to figure out how I'm going to count this exactly. I might count it by session as opposed to by game, meaning when you play through Too Many Bones, you can basically play through a bunch of encounters, a series of encounters to get to the boss, and those series of encounters could be anywhere from something that takes you 90 minutes to play to something that takes you 4 hours to play. I might count this based on the sessions I have sitting down playing this, even if it's multiple sessions. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know exactly, but I'm prepared to give myself leeway on this challenge. I just want to play the games. The leeway part, I'll give myself if I need to. But Too Many Bones is one that I would love to play 12 times in this year. And going back to the earlier thing I was saying, I've played Arnak 12 times at least. I have played Parks likely 12 times over the course of owning it. Spirit Island, I don't think I've played. No, I probably have. I'm probably around 12 plus plays on Spirit Island. Again, just over the course of my life of having this. These aren't games I dive into on a regular basis. Spirit Island is a game I play 3 times a year, and every time I do it, I'm like, I should play it more. But 3 times a year takes a long time to add up to 12 plays. I probably have played at 12, but not necessarily, I don't know. Wild Ascent, I've played 12 times, by the way. Wild Ascent, because I played a full campaign, and then 2 partial campaigns, so that's 12 times right there. Mythic Mischief, I might have, because between the Blitz plays I've had, the regular plays, I might be at 12 plays of Mythic Mischief. For the most part, these are games I love and adore, and then Sentinels of the Multiverse I definitely have over the course of me owning it, and Clank Legacy, I have 5 plays under my belt, and that's it. All of these are going to be going from 0 to 12, or at least from 2023 plays to 12. As far as my proxy list, my backup list, and I'm not, again, subbing in anything else at all as long as it hits the previous criteria, but the 10 games I'm looking at as far as my backup list right now, Oh, and then Mythic Mischief is available online. Also has solo play. I can easily dive into it. Wild Assent, solo play if I need to. Tanares, solo play. All these games, Sentinels, Multiverse, solo play. Clank Legacy, I don't want to play it solo, so we'll have to see what happens there. Maybe it gets proxied if it doesn't get played. And then Too Many Bones, easily solo play. So most of these games have solo play or online play or both to be able to get them played. As far as my backup list, the 10 games that I'm ready to proxy in as needed, Unsettled. Unsettled from Orange Nebula. I love that game and would love the excuse to force myself to play it 12 times. Would adore the excuse. We have Everdell, a great system that I still haven't played all the expansions. I would love 12 plays where I can explore the expansions, the iterations, combine them in different ways, and really dive into the world of Everdell. I still have the big box that I took the shrink off, Devin. I took the shrink off, but I haven't done anything more than that. Did I take the shrink off? I think I took the shrink off. I may have taken the shrink off. We have the Everdell system. We have Mechs and Minions. Might dive into that one. That's another one which technically doesn't really have 12 plays, has 10 plays, but it's doable. You can kind of play each one. It's not really a campaign. It's like iterative, and you could easily play them again, so that one's a lot of fun, and would happily play it through that. Also, if you lose them, you have to replay them. One of the differences in Wild Ascent, if you lose, you're dead. In Mechs vs. Minions, if you lose, I guess that's a solution. I could just die early in Wild Ascent. We'll see. Mechs vs. Minions, if you lose, you replay, and that counts as a play for me, so 12 plays of Mechs vs. Minions should be easy to do. We have Wayfarers of the South Tigris. Yes, Wayfarers of the South Tigris is on this list, which might be surprising to you, those of you who know that I don't particularly care for most of Garphill games. I think they're fine, but none of them have won me over, except for Hadrian's Wall, which isn't their typical line of games. And for me, I want to try Wayfarers of South Tigris. And if I don't like it, it will not be further on this list. But if I do like it, I want to give it a shot. I want to see how much 12 plays can do. I think the most I've done of Garphill games is... I don't know, actually. I've played Architects of the West Kingdom maybe 4 or 5 times. But then Raiders, I've played the base with the expansions, and then Scythia twice. So I think I have 5 plays if you include Scythia and Raiders as a bundle. Maybe 6 plays. So a decent amount. I've given them a shot. I really have. The only one I didn't really give a shot was Viscounts. That I gave 1 play and moved on from. Paladins I gave 2 plays, and Paladins is one I'm open to trying again. And it's on Tabletopia as well, so there is that option as well on the table. We have Skytear. I love Skytear. I think Skytear is amazing, and it's online. Again, see my previous notes about all these different conversations. I would love to dive into more Skytear and have a blast with it. We have Vindication, which is a great game. It's on Tabletopia for those if anyone wanted to play it there. I don't even know if it has solo play. I'd happily look into it if I'm doing this, but Vindication, I would adore the excuse to play that 12 times. Through the Ages, which I'm realizing now, I did put on my list, probably because it has online play. Board Game Arena has Through the Ages. It's a game I've played in person. It's a game I've played on the app. I wouldn't count the game against... I would not count as part of a 12x12 playing it against an app, but I would count playing on Board Game Arena. I think that's closer enough to what I'd be trying to do. Playing a live play on Board Game Arena, not a turn-based play. I would do that. I would count that, and it's such a good game. I would play 12 games of Through the Ages. We have Machina Arcana, a game I adore. A game that I adore so much, I'm realizing I put on this list twice by mistake. Literally, I'm looking at my little notes over there, and I have Machina Arcana, another game, and then Machina Arcana. So I like Machina Arcana a lot. It should really be on this list, and in fact, it's on Tabletopia as well. That's another excuse, another reason to dive into Machina Arcana. It's definitely one of my proxy games. We have Marvel Champions, which I didn't pick initially. I was torn as to whether to put it into the list. There were a lot of things that were struggling for those 12 spots. Marvel Champions is great. It has good solo play. It doesn't need online play. I could dive into that, and one Sunday afternoon, I could knock out my 12 plays if I really wanted to. Marvel Champions is definitely one of those games you can consider strongly in the proxy list. If something needs to be pushed out, Marvel Champions is one I can power through easily enough and count that as part of my 12x12. And then I'm realizing, because I put Machina Arcana twice, I need Massive Darkness 2. Let's do Massive Darkness 2. It's ambitious, but I would love to play more Massive Darkness. It's a great game. I enjoy it a lot. Or I should do Zombicide, Undead or Alive. You know what? Let's throw Zombicide, Undead or Alive on the list. I like playing Zombicide system. I have AP who'd happily play through the whole system with me. Maybe we'll do 12 gameplays of Zombicide, Undead or Alive. I don't know. We'll figure it out. What I do know is I love the opportunity to play these games and many more, and to push myself to play them, and so this is my 12x12 challenge video. As far as what's next on this challenge video, well, nothing yet, honestly. See, differently than last year. Last year, when I did my whole game a month thing, I played a game every single day, and then I did a video at the end of the month talking about those plays, and that's it. And I have 2 ways I could approach this. I could do a monthly update on this video. Hey, here's where I am on these games, but I don't think that's that interesting. What I'm more inclined to do is to, after each time I've finished 12 games in a video, I might do a dedicated video around that game. You know, hey, 12 games of Encyclopedia, you know, an updated review, talking about my nuance, my opinions, how it's changed, has pushing through it made it worse, made it better, do I see more strategy, has trying all the expansions and the modules, because when I review games, I don't try to go into the expansion and modules, because it means that the review will take forever to actually get to. So I try to review the base game, but then sometimes you want to come back, hey, I played through Lost Winds of Arnak in 14 configurations, with this character and that side of the board, and this opportunity, and these, like, all those kinds of options on the table. I've tried the solo mode, I've tried the adventure over here. Being able to talk about a game with more information, I think, is useful, and I think that it happens. You can get dedicated, informative reviews from people, but they're definitely an exception. Again, I think a lot of channels do them, but they do them on an exception basis. You have to find people who are obsessed with a certain game, and they want to talk about it. Because if you don't like a game, you're not going to give it 12 plays. And if you do like a game, maybe playing it 12 times takes it down a notch for you. Maybe it puts it up a notch. I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning towards doing this video, and then every single time I finish 12 plays, diving into the next video, talking about my experiences, including online. Hey, online, this is great. In person, it's great. Solo is not so great. These things. I think I just want to do dedicated reviews on each of these games as I go through them. Or I just don't do this challenge, because it is pretty ambitious. It's 144 plays of games I love, but it's definitely an ambitious challenge. Well, we'll see what happens. I hope you join me for the ride. I appreciate all of you sticking around for all the videos and content and all those things, and for sitting through a, I don't know, 20-minute long video on me talking about the fact that I want to play 12 games. 12 times. Each. Before the end of 2023. Wish me luck. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game & Co., and I hope you have a good one.